Hello and welcome to Born Football TV. My name is Aaron Malolo, your host. And of course, today I'm not doing it alone. I'm with Andile, who is the resident analyst. But before we welcome him, I'd like to urge you to subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment on the comment section. Talk to us what you think of the topic we're going to be delving into. Andile, welcome to the show, Chief. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks, sir. And how are you?
I'm fine, man. It's been some time since we last saw you.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
How have you been though with Arsenal and everything?
Well, with the wins, I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm happy. Because the media is saying that Arteta is doing well. Yeah, we don't know because it's just 3 games, but yeah. At the moment, I'm happy with the results.
Yeah, of course, because it's winning. That's what it needs to do.
Yeah, like these short-term goals, like what you call these things, like the small wins, the small wins that you get. Be happy with it. Like guys, we're living in a pandemic. Be happy. Everything that's good that's happening, be happy and keep it moving.
Okay, of course, we know we've seen in the news. It's actually a trending thing. It's something that it's in every media. It's in everyone's mouth. Everyone is talking about it. Southampton have been taken over, and it's something that has dragged from last season. Oh well, sorry about that. Newcastle have been taken over by the royalty from Saudi Arabia, and it's something that was supposed to happen season before before the beginning of the last season, and finally it happened after a lot of disputes and everything. So what is your take on that?
My take on it is that finally some fans are going to be happy, but it's taking away some things from football itself.
Things like what?
Things like you're going to see Newcastle in the news for being overspending.
Yeah.
You see, that has never happened to Newcastle before. You're going to see things like them buying big players and everything. Like now they have the financial resource, to compete for the league. And now you're going to see fines flying around. City was fine. They had to beat, PSG was fine. They have a lot of money to spend. So yeah, they're taking something away from the Premier League. Now it's no longer going to be 6 teams competing, 7 teams. But which like works both ways.
Yes,
now they minus something, now they're adding something. Now we're going to see more contenders for the league.
Yeah. But there's just to give our viewers a bit of background, there's something you mentioned. You spoke about PSG, you also spoke about Man City. For those of you who don't know what that means, Man City also experienced the same thing. They were taken over they were bought, and things turned around. Also PSG, the same thing happened. So do you think there are some pointers we can learn from Man City and also from PSG to foresee what may happen to Newcastle?
I think what's going to happen with Newcastle is going to be different, because if you look at City and PSG, they were already like decent clubs before the takeover, and then now you're having your Newcastle who got relegated way back and came back recently. They do have like good players, promising players, but they don't have billionaire bracket players. So it's going to take a while for them to actually be like a powerhouse, because number one, you need to attract the players to your project. You see, because players don't view football as we view it. They view it as a job. What am I going to get from this? So now we view it to consume the sport. They view it to actually make money from it. They need to find proper management, build stadium, like have other investments, like wanting to be part of Newcastle United, and have like people, like players, like individual players, like young players. If like a player like Mbappe would say, I think I'd consider playing for Newcastle, because the club has rich history, but that rich history is not well renowned across Europe. You see, because now this is going to be like a club that has been good. Yes, Alan Shearer played for it. They have good history, but do they have great history in terms of as I was saying, that they have a rich history in England, but not so rich across Europe. And for you to attract big name players, you need to have like a good reputation in Europe. You see, so it's going to be like a difficult task. But I know that
But now, question. Sorry to interrupt you. How long are we looking at? Can you like put a number? What they always say about goals. Your goals must be smart, they must be measurable. If we are to measure this Newcastle project, how long are we looking at? 3 seasons, 4 seasons?
I think it might take from 4, even longer than that. Because if you look at their takeover, they didn't act like abruptly like any other like takeover. They had to wait a whole season for them to have taken over. They waited last season. Remember, at the beginning of last season, they were supposed to take over. It shows. I'm not sure whether they would have wished to have taken over last year, but if everything was just planned, it shows you that they have patience. You know, they won't look for quick goals. So
I think another thing also, I mean, they bought the club for £300 million. I don't think they're in a hurry. You can't spend that money and you are in a hurry.
Yeah, that's like buying 3 Jack Grealishes. You know, and it's a lot of money.
It's a lot.
It's like something like 6 billion here in SA. So I think that like they would want to, for this season, maintain, you know, the top flight football.
Yes.
I see them maybe finding a good reputable coach.
Yes.
I'm not sure if they have that much faith in their coach, but I think that first would be to stabilize the ship, to make sure that they don't sink and go down to championship, because we can see that like teams are performing well and others are not. So I think that for their own good, you know, they would want to stay within the Premier League, but within like the next few transfer windows, we're gonna see them being very, very active.
I also heard some news that some journalists were concerned that they're not sure if the next game the coach may continue. I heard some news that he may be sacked, but of course we'll see as the story develops. So you are saying something between at least 4 seasons for Newcastle for them to start seeing fruits.
Yes, they can still do well within the 4 that we start seeing them to flourish. Because if you remember properly, it was back after it was after the 2010, né? We had the takeover at City, and then City won 2 Premier Leagues before the arrival of Pep. So I'm not sure, but we might see a similar thing happening before they start to utterly dominate. As we look at Man City now, Man City are dominating. You understand? Yeah. So now I feel like within that 4 years, they won't be just a mid-table team. No. They're gonna start challenging for Europe. You know, just knocking doors here and there. You know, trying by all means to win the Carabao Cup, just to bring some silverware before they knock the big fish down. You know, so I feel like that is one thing that they'll be aiming to do.
So basically, you are saying earlier you also mentioned the issue about money. So you are saying in football, money is important. It gives you some necessary muscles, especially as a team.
Yes. Money is everything. Money is everything, because how are you going to be a big team without money? You know, the reason why we have the big 6, you know, it's because of their financial muscle. They are able to bring in good players, and good players don't come cheap. They come for like £200 a week. So you can look at that amount and tell me how many big figures are we willing to have in the team. You see, and you must also remember that there are rules. You remember like how Messi lost his spot at Barca, because like the Premier League is going to be like, this is where we kept your spending for keeping your staff. So now like it's a lot
last
to
question
think about.
Before we go to the next topic. What does this whole thing mean for the Premier League?
This means a lot. It means that there's a new kid in the block. Now 5 to 6 years from now, you're gonna bump into someone here in Africa who claims to be like a Newcastle fan. You know.
So when you see those people, you need to suspect that. When did you start supporting Newcastle?
Like, was it like before the oil power, or was it after the oil gang? You see, because when the oil gang arrived, everyone supported. I mean, look at you. You're wearing a PSG shirt. I'm not taking any shots. You're wearing a PSG shirt. It was after the oil gang. You see, we have a lot of Man City fans.
That's what we suspect.
You see, so like with money drives it.
Yeah,
it makes the world go round. So
and also I think also publicity for the Premier League, because everyone is talking about this thing. It's the trending thing. Even someone who does not know what Newcastle is, they go and check, then they find out it's in the Premier League. Okay, so moving on. I remember one of these days with Andile, we were talking about a trend that we've been seeing in the Premier League. You'll see a team, they will come from Championship, perform very well first season. The second season, they will just perform very badly. Just to give you a few examples. We saw Watford. Watford came with Wolves. I think they finished 8th in that season. They did very well. The following season, they were relegated. We are seeing the same thing now with Leeds. Leeds did very well last season, but this season they've not really found their tempo. They've not really found themselves. They are really struggling. And now the question is, are they going to fall into this same trap that we have been seeing. And another team that I left out, Sheffield United, they did very well in their first season. In fact, they were the second least conceding team in the Premier League in their first season. The following season, they performed very badly. They were relegated. So I don't know.
I feel like there's a problem with the I don't want to call them novice coaches, but they are pretty new to the Premier League.
Yes.
And they have a thinking that if I come in with a storm, I'll be able to weather next season. But here's the thing that most coaches don't get, and I think the likes of Sean Dyche and the likes, the mid-table teams, they really get.
They've mastered it.
That each and every season, everything is good. You will not bring your all season tactics and strategy thinking that it will sustain you in the following season.
You that swept nicely last season.
You see, that's why Chelsea keeps getting new coaches to apply new philosophies to make sure that they are always up to speed and pushing. The problem is that you're gonna come in for a season, not survive but do well. You understand? Because we're seeing Brentford. Brentford is doing tremendously well.
Yes.
You see, if they have that complacency to say we are now a Premier League team, that's when they will falter, because now they need to always be on their toes. You look at a strategy that worked for Manchester City 2 seasons ago, it will not work for them.
You
understand?
definitely.
Because the coaches always learn and adapt. You will not use the same strategy in the Premier League thinking that you're gonna win with it wire. That will never happen. So I feel like the coaches, when it comes to recruitment, they don't also recruit people who will strengthen them. Because most of the teams that come in, they will just come in for a season with their old players, maybe with a few experienced players, and then think that the next season we're still going to push with these ones, or make a few signings here and there. And then you're going to start seeing them to crumble down. And here's the problem with these teams, is that it's your second season in the Premier League. You know that you're not a top-notch yet.
Yes.
You still have to believe in yourself to think that, I'm a big person and I'm a capable person, to play in the league. So now once you start losing it 2, 3 or 4 consecutive games, you can see the body language moving into the field that, these guys are not sure if they're going to win or lose. You see, they no longer give their all to the field because they're
and of course the psychology behind that now, after you have lost 3 games, your confidence also starts going down as players.
Yes, because we need to understand that as much as we criticize the players, we do everything. These people are human beings.
Exactly.
It's just that they're brave enough to play the sport that they love and perform at the highest of levels. Now, once we understand that, we can see or we can actually tell whether a team is going to survive or not. I'm going to make a simple example. You look at a player like Antonio Rudiger. That guy is not the best defender, if you're being honest. But he's very confident. His mindset and his mind games are very up there. It makes him to stand out from the rest. So now if you have a team that has a thinking that I am the best in this field and I'm going to push, with everything, and I believe in my teammates, I believe in my coaches, then you're going to find a team that is fearless. Because once you come into the Premier League, first round, you're very fearless. You see their attacks. Look at these Leeds last season. On their first ever game. After being
they lost,
promoted,
of course, but
they scored 3 goals
against Liverpool.
Think of Liverpool. When last did you see Liverpool conceding 3 before? You understand? Van Dijk was still in the team. They have this no fear when they hit the pitch. But come next season, they become complacent, or I don't know what just happens.
Okay, so
and then they start
just to offer him, because we also spoke about Frankfurt that they're confident. They also scored 3 goals against Liverpool. In fact, they drew. They were coming from behind and then they just kept on. What advice would you give to them? Say maybe they are watching. Because Leeds, we saw the same thing. They were very good. But this season, they are drawing unnecessary games. They are losing unnecessary. And this was the team that was on fire last season. This was the team that chowed Man City in the second leg last season.
One thing to all the teams gaining being promoted or being their second season, consistency, chief. That's the only thing. If you were working 110% last season to be fit and to play well, make sure that this season you do that times 7. You need to give 100 and something percent, 700%, 1,000% if possible. Like
your McGinn type of giving.
You see, make sure that you leave your heart, you wear your heart on your sleeves. You push each and every game. You understand? Because now we say that the team is not consistent, right? But who are we to blame if the team is not consistent? who is the 1% responsible for the team not being consistent? It's like it starts with one person.
Every player.
You see, each and every player. You like
we all have to give our 110%.
You know, like you look at the best defensive players. They know that I can depend on you and you can depend on me.
Yeah.
And that way, they become very solid. You understand? So once the team believes in their abilities to be like, guys, we were here last season. We're not going to falter. You know, we've beaten these guys before and we're going to push. You see, that consistency, that positive mindset, is always important.
Yeah. So of course, Andile mentioned consistency to these teams that we have been seeing faltering. They come one season. Well, some people call them one season wonder. But another team for me that I've really not been impressed and I don't see them surviving. It's Norwich City. They came, they left, now they came again and I don't see them surviving. Just one last question, Andile. If you had to name maybe 2 or 3 players that have impressed you, who are those players? From every team in the Premier League.
From every team in the Premier
League. If you had just to pick, okay, let's just say 3 players. Or maybe 5 aside. Just choose 5 players.
I'm an Arsenal fan. I really like the impact and the influence that Martin Odegaard is having.
Yeah.
And it gives our attackers, that assurance that if I make this run, he's going to, get it through. The same with Pogba. Like, watch the first few games with Pogba and Greenwood.
Yeah.
Pogba was still about to receive the ball, and Greenwood was already on the line. You see. So, for me, such players are the ones. But obviously, you can't give more out of it.
Of course, the Egyptian king.
Yeah.
That one, Ajuebul, I think the hottest player now in the world.
Yes, you have to give it to him.
Yeah.
He does not have a first touch.
He cannot even properly his first touch, this one you can crucify us. His first touch is one of the poorest. But when it comes to scoring, be sure of one thing. The guy will score. If he doesn't score, be sure that he assisted.
His goal contributions are a lot.
Yeah.
Because that, imagine as a team, having that one guy that that this one is going to force, and make a way for us, up front. You trust them to do that job.
Yeah.
You see. So for me, I feel like, it's those guys. So I think for now, just stick to those things.
And another thing that I think maybe it's just a topic for another day. Another thing that Andile mentioned is that do you guys think it's time that maybe we put Mo Salah in that same bracket with Cristiano Ronaldo, with Lionel Messi? Because I mean, for the past 3 to 4 seasons, the guy has proven himself. In his first season at Liverpool, they were like, no, he's a one season wonder. Again, second season he came. Third season, fourth season, I think this is the 5th season now. The guy keeps proving himself.
Now, tell me this if I'm wrong, right?
Yes.
Again, opinions is what we speak.
Yeah.
This is my opinion. My opinion is that the Premier League, if not the best, the best. It's either 1 or 2 easy.
Yeah.
If it's not the best, it is the best league in the world. Now you have a player performing there and at the top for more than 2 seasons. Check.
Yeah.
For more than 2 seasons, consistently performing, being top 3 in everything that he competes for.
Yeah.
You understand? And then now you have a player that does well in another league. You check. And then you say telling me that just because the other one is scoring more goals than the other one, this one is being portrayed as the best. Now, if you have a top scorer in the championship scoring 50 goals and the top scorer in the Premier League scores 49 goals, which is the best scorer between the two?
Of course, the one in the Premier League.
Because you need to pay respect to the toughness and the competitiveness
the quality.
Of that league. So
the quality.
At the moment, Mo Salah is the best player in the world.
If you disagree, talk to us. Go into the comment section. Tell us that no, guys. No, Mo Salah is not the best. Maybe you have another player from another league that we don't want to mention that you think is the best. You can talk to us. Please engage with us in the comment section. We'd really love to hear from you. And any closing remarks?
I can't wait for the Premier League to come back. International breaks must be played at the end of the year.
I saw Malta playing we just need the Premier League to come back, guys. So please share this video, and most importantly, subscribe. It will not cost you a thing, guys. And from me and Andile, it's a wrap.